do is I'm going to step to one side of Zach's body, and I'm going to use, as I face his feet, the arm that is closest to his spine. I'm not going to use my left arm, I'm going to use my right arm when I'm standing on this side of his body and facing his feet. What I'm going to do is, in between his shoulder blades, I'm going to start at the medial border of his shoulder blade, just to the inside of his shoulder blade. That's right here. And I am going to use my forearm to find the outside of a group of muscles called the erector spinae group. Now what I'm going to do is I get a hold of the outer border of these muscles. Can you see, here's Zach's spine, and here, this mound of tissue here in between his spine and my elbow, those are the erector spinae muscles. I am going to move them in the shape of a V toward his spine. Rather than widening his body right now, what I'm doing is lengthening his body. And very important, very key to this move here is that I move in the shape of a V. What that means is I make this motion, right? So I'm going to be doing a half V over here. And if you take a look at what I'm doing, primarily my directionality is lengthening his spine and his tissue toward his sacrum. It's cross-fibering at the same time a little bit, but I'm not going directly into the spine like this. Now, a couple of things to notice about my body. Do you notice that I've got my feet very far apart from each other? Okay? I'm not putting my feet close together, bending my lower back, and doing this. Here I will hurt myself, okay? And I can only use muscle energy to open his body. Here, if I take like a runner's lunge in yoga, right? And I use the table to gain more stability. Immediately, the energy source that I'm using is universal gravitation. I'm falling into the geometric pattern, the geometric form of the universe when I hook my center of gravitation up to the field of gravity. I do that by keeping my spine long, keeping my pelvis close to the work. Split your legs, keep your feet far apart from each other so that you can keep your spine long and fall into the body that you're working on. What we're going to be doing is saying things like, okay, half that speed, and then you'll find half that speed, and then we'll look at you again and say, okay, now half that speed. So I'm moving in the shape of a V and down. Now, once I get to the spine, what we're going to do this morning is I'm going to come slowly out. Then what I'm going to do in order to continue down Zach's back is I'm going to start my second V just above where I stopped the last one. Okay, so I ended here. I'll start just above. So now I'm moving in a V. This is my second V towards Zach's spine. Watch how here in the lumbar area, I cross over the erector spinae. Now, it's very important that when you get off of the rib cage beyond the 12th rib, that you do not press down like this. What I'm going to do as I work is, particularly when I get into the lumbar curve here where there are no ribs supporting, when I'm going to do my third V, is I'm going to make sure that the bulk of my directionality goes toward his feet. Here, we're going to get to the trickiest part of this move.